Let's draw a dragon eye. We're going to start off by drawing a regular eye shape, a little exaggerated. We're going to include an eyelid and make sure it's more narrow at both ends of the eye. Now draw your lower lid and again, keep it more narrow towards the ends of the eye. Now it's time for you to get creative. You can design your eye how you would like. I'm putting some scales right above the eyelid and I'm going to continue them up. Keep in mind that you'll be blending these areas after you have your sketch laid out. Now it's time to lay down the color. Just like we practiced, we're going to use pressure to create a darker value and then release the pressure to create a lighter value, leaving an area that we can overlap with another color. I'm beginning with the violet blue and I'm going to lay down some dark areas just so I can get a feel for what I want to do with my eye. While I'm considering where I'm going to put my dark values, I'm thinking about what areas are going to be covered by the scales around them, and that's where I'm creating darker values. And then I'm also thinking about where the light might be hitting it. So I'm going to leave those areas open for some lighter values. Now I'm going to use the violet on top of the violet blue. I left myself an area that was not shaded as dark so that I could blend in the violet on top. I'm going to use the violet the exact same way I used the violet blue so that I can leave an area for my lighter blue. Now I'm going to create a lighter value with my lighter blue, and my goal here is to blend it in with the violet so that there is hardly a seam in between the two colors. Now I'm going to work on defining part of my upper eyelid. I'm going to use the black to kind of create a little shadow underneath some of the scales. After I use the black at this point, I decide not to use the black anymore until the very end because I do not want my paper to smudge. On the round areas, make sure you're using curved lines as you're coloring so that you do not flatten the area. In order to make the eyelid have a little bit of depth, I'm gonna go ahead and make a lighter value using white mixed in with my blue so that it can sit more on top of the iris. Be careful not to add too much white because it will muddy your colors. While you're doing the second layer, make sure you're thinking about where the light is not going to hit because the first layer is in the way. And you also want to be able to separate the two, so you're going to use a darker value right above the first layer and then work your way up. Finally, it's time to create our iris. Right now, I'm gonna go ahead and decide where I want my iris and sketch out some lines. I decide I wanna use a starburst effect. I'm gonna leave a white center in my iris, and I'm gonna start with yellow. I'm gonna create a ring by rotating my paper, and I'm gonna be coloring outwards. While you're doing this, you must also use pressure to create darker and lighter values so that you can overlap with your orange, and then finally your red. eyeball needs a little bit of value as well, so I'm going to add some blue values, and then I'm going to go over it with some white just to add some dimension. Your next steps are just your finishing touches. You're going to be adding some dimension by using some black. You're going to create your pupil, and you can add some shadows just to create some more depth. Now it's your turn. You do not have to use the same colors as me, but I do recommend that you use complementary colors because they contrast really well and it makes everything pop a bit more. Have fun!